Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the TAG Heuer Aquaracer Professional 300 WPB 201B. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing an Addy's Dive AD 2102, homage to the Seiko Save the Ocean Sumo. And Grogo is wearing my Heimdallr Monster. Grogo has been using Pinterest lately and has created his first charcuterie board. He asked me if it was okay to use cheese from bantha milk since it was sweeter than cow's milk. I told him sweet creams are made for cheese. Who am I to dish your brie? This video is being shot with my new Pixel 4a camera, which should be an improvement on my old Motorola, especially the lume test. Here's the watch. This is a first for my channel, which is normally focused on more affordable watches. Let me reassure you that this is a genuine article purchased directly in person from a brick and mortar authorized dealer, so I can vouch for its authenticity. And more than likely this will be the last, since it does not represent a change of focus for my channel. I did not purchase this for review purposes with the intent of selling it when I'm finished, but instead for my personal enjoyment and reward for my 25th anniversary as a software engineer. But what better way to show off my new camera than with this beauty? I have been planning on treating myself to a Swiss watch for my 25th for some time now. I knew I wanted it to be a blue diver. I did not consider a Rolex Submariner due to the price, availability, and color choices. You can't get a blue sub without gold in it. Also, I did not want a Tudor Black Bay 58 as I wanted something larger than 39mm. I had narrowed my choices down to the Tudor Pelagos, Omega Seamaster Pro, Breitling Super Ocean, and the Longines Hydro Conquest. I like the Aquaracer, but not enough to put it on my list. But then TAG Heuer came out with this new model, which completely sparked my interest. It seemed to be a complete improvement on the older model, and it had a really cool dynamically adjustable clasp. I went to my authorized dealer in anticipation of trying it on, but they only had the older model with no idea when the new model would arrive. I kept pestering them for quite a while, but to my disappointment, nothing. The more I studied the watch online, the more I was convinced that this was the watch for me. But when my 25th arrived, they still did not have this in stock. So I bit the bullet and ordered it anyway. The dealer said it would take about 8 to 10 weeks to arrive. Much to my surprise, my phone rang during the second week. I picked it up from the dealer, and I think he was more excited than I was, since it was the first of the new Aquaracers he has sold. I did not do an unboxing video for this watch since I did not open it at home and I didn't want to weird out the dealer. I could have made one when I brought it home, but I like for my unboxing videos to be my first impression of the watch. I purchased the blue colorway. There's also a black and a silver colored dial with a black bezel. They also make a green, but that has a titanium case and bracelet. I like titanium watches, but I did not want a green one, plus the titanium is $1,200 more than the steel models. They also just came out with rubber strap versions of the steel models that still have the cool adjustable clasp. The rubber straps will save you $300. I must say that the blue of this watch is a little bit more navy than I was expecting. You need a very strong light to make the color really pop, and it almost looks black in low lighting. Like most Swiss watches, it comes in a massively oversized box with an instruction book in every language possible that no one will read, because we all know how to use a watch. Then it also comes with this warranty card, and it has a 2-year warranty. Also, my dealer threw in this travel case for taking the watch with you. It's very nice. The watch is 43mm at the bezel if you measure at the corners, but 42.5mm if you measure from the flats. It has a 49.2mm lug-to-lug with inverted end links. It's only 12.2mm thick, has a 22mm lug width, and weighs 181 grams with 2 links removed. This is a fairly heavy watch. If you think that this is too heavy, you might want to consider the titanium model, but that really ups the price. or you could go with a rubber strap version that still has the dynamic clasp. The 60-click unidirectional bezel keeps the 12-sided dodecagon shape of the Aquaracer, but the sides have a coin edge for easier grip. The insert is ceramic, and instead of a lume pip, there's a lumed hollow triangle. This is an upgrade from the previous model that had an aluminum bezel with a lume pip. I really prefer the look of a ceramic bezel, and I like the engraved numbers and markers. The bezel action is excellent with loud, solid clicks and just the right amount of resistance. Everything lines up just nicely. The fully illumined applied indices are also different from the previous model, which were a little bit gaudy and over-designed. Trapezoids at the 3, 9, and 12. The trapezoids have a small slope in the middle, which is kind of gives you a nice effect because the light will catch one side of it but not the other, and so it kind of switches back and forth. Pretty cool. A small rectangle at the 6 due to the date is a nice touch because you still get a little bit of lume there. Octagons everywhere else are close enough to the bezel shape and add nicely to the design of the watch. The dial has an engraved horizontal stripe pattern. Aquaracer and the applied TAG Heuer logo on top. Then it has the word automatic in yellow, and then the 300-meter depth rating. Thankfully it doesn't say water resistant, which clutter up the dial. The date is at the 6 o'clock instead of the 3, which is becoming a popular choice, adding symmetry to the watch. The Cyclops is on the inside of the crystal and is just large enough to cover the date. The Cyclops does a good job of magnifying the date, and there is no annoying reflection, which is common to external Cyclops. The minute track has half-minute markers. Not sure if that was necessary. I think minute markers would have been cleaner. Other than that, TAG Heuer really nailed the dial. The fully illumined sword hands have been simplified and are no longer split in the middle. The second hand has the yellow trapezoid and tip that has become a staple of the Aquaracer line. The flat sapphire crystal has excellent AR coating with hardly any reflection. It practically looks like it isn't even there. I am very pleased. Plus, let me once again gush over the internal Cyclops, which does its job without getting in the way. The signed screw-down crown pops really nice and has thread action so smooth that you can't even feel the threads when screwing the crown back down. The crown guards do a nice job of protecting the crown without getting in the way and affecting usability. The case is a nice brushed and shaped in a way to complement the bezel. See, it's kind of got the bezel shape. The lugs slope down to keep the watch sitting nice and flat on the wrist. The screw-down case back does not have slots for the traditional 2 or 3 prong opener. I'm assuming that TAG Heuer must make a dodecagon-shaped opener that fits in the case back, so keep that in mind if you like to tinker. There is a diver's helmet embossed on the case back, as well as the 300-meter depth rating. It also says Swiss made since 1860. Search and watch people would scoff at that claim, saying that TAG Heuer is not the same as Heuer of old, but to that I say, pookie, pookie, pookie. The movement is a caliber 5, which is not considered in-house because it is a rebranding of an ETA 2824, which is the go-to movement for most Swiss-made watches without in-house movements. The 2824 is so popular due to its accuracy, reliability, and compact height. The short height of this watch might not be possible with other movements. The 2824 is a 4 Hz movement providing 8 ticks a second, providing an extra smooth sweep of the second hand. The only downside is a mere 38-hour power reserve. The TAG Heuer Octavia uses a COSC certified version of this movement, however the Aquaracer does not. But I did a time graph and it looks like this particular one is running well within COSC specs. I have heard snarky comments before about TAG Heuer and the caliber 5, and why would you spend so much for a watch with a movement that is popular among sub-1000 Swiss-made watches? There is more to a watch other than the movement. Also, you could use the same argument about any watch more expensive than your basic Casio. Buy what makes you happy and not what some watch aficionado tells you is horologically important. The watch has solid inverted end links that help make a big watch like this sit well on the wrist. The bracelet is a single link that looks like a 3-link. There are adjustment links on the end that are half links, and you can also remove the full links. The pins are a pin and collar, with the collar being the long one that resides in the center link. Here, let me show you. Here's the collar, and here's the pin. The dealer did not recommend me adjusting my own bracelet, and he did it himself. And more than likely, that's probably a good idea. I'd hate to screw that up. He had to remove 2 links to fit my 7.5-inch wrist. Those were full links and not the half links. Plus, with the clasp fully extended, I would say you could do a rather large wrist. The star of the show is this dynamically adjustable clasp. It is fully milled push button clasp with 17.5 millimeters of micro adjust. The adjustments can be done without tools by simply pushing the buttons on the end links. There are 7 positions that you can choose. This is a really easy to use and makes on-the-fly adjustments a breeze. There is no fold-over safety, but the clasp seems very secure. It's not going anywhere once you press it in. There is no diver's extension, but if you adjust the clasp so it sits closely to the inner of the clasp, then you can kind of use this adjustment as a diver's extension. Kind of a pseudo diver's extension. Unfortunately, the clasp seems to scratch very easily, as I already have quite a few scratches on it. There are no other scratches on the watch. It's pretty much just the clasp. It's kind of hard to believe I've done this by just putting my hands in my pocket. It's not like I've been doing hard labor with this watch. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. Looks nice. Sits nice and flat. A big watch that wears very well. And if you look at the dynamic clasp, I got there just past the middle, so there's plenty of room for adjustment. I was surprised when I bought this just how much my wrist shrinks and swells, because I adjust it quite a bit. I'm not going to show you this watch on other straps because, once again, the clasp is the star of the show, and why would you want to put it on anything other than with that clasp? I could tell that the first time I walked into a dark room that this watch had awesome lume, so I brought out my 2 heavy hitters, the Heimdallr Monster and the Seiko 5 SRPD 59. As you can see, the minute hand, second hand, and bezel triangle have BGW9, where everything else is C3. Not only is the minute hand better than the indices, it is also beating both the Heimdallr and the Seiko. This is the best lume of any watch I've ever reviewed. What do I like about this watch? Well, just about everything. They really nailed the bezel and the dial. Wonderful anti-reflective crystal with awesome inner cyclops. Dynamically adjustable clasp. Awesome lume. And this is just an overall improvement on the previous model. What are my gripes and groans? Well, the blue is a little bit too navy. Wish it was a shade lighter. And this awesome clasp still seems to scratch very easily. And you do need a special tool to open the watch. Do I recommend this watch? Most certainly. If you're looking for a 300-meter Swiss-made dive watch from an established brand, this one is great. And although not cheap, it is a bit more affordable than the competition. Well, thank you for watching my review of the TAG Heuer Aquaracer. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back with another review. Bye.